In this episode, you'll learn how to turn one video into reusable clips or frames inside Spaces. Media Extractor is simple in structure, but very powerful when you want to keep building from a video, instead of treating it as the final step. To show this clearly, we'll start from a short sequence built with a flow you already know. A text node feeds an image generator, the image feeds a video generator, and the result is a moody emotional clip of a young man in a dimly lit bathroom, with dramatic red-orange lighting, and a sequence that moves between extreme close-ups, profile shots, and wider moments. We are not going to break down that setup again here, because the important part for this episode is what happens once the video already exists. So we add a media extractor from the video section and connect our clip to it. At first glance, this node is very simple. It receives one video, and the main area where we work is the timeline below. The interesting part is not its structure, but its 5 modes. Let's go through them one by one, because that is the clearest way to understand what this node can do. The first mode is clips. This does exactly what the name suggests. If you need one section of the video, or several different sections, clips lets you define those ranges directly on the timeline. As you click and place them, you can clearly see where each one starts, where it ends, and how long it lasts. For this example, we've selected 2 separate segments. Then we simply run the node. As soon as we do that, a list node appears automatically containing those 2 extracted clips, ready to continue through the rest of the project. Now let's move to the second mode, extract all frames. This one takes the video apart completely. At the top right, the node shows how many frames it detected. In this case, it found 289. If we run it, every single one of those frames is sent into a new list. We're not going to execute that here simply because it would generate a very large number of items, but the behavior is straightforward. One video goes in, every frame is extracted, and the result is organized into a list. The third mode is custom frame rate. This lets you extract frames at regular intervals instead of taking all of them. In this example, the source video runs at 24 frames per second, and the slider lets you choose anything from 1 frame per second up to that full rate. So here you are not selecting moments manually, you are defining the interval. The spacing is controlled by the slider, and the system places the extracted frames accordingly across the timeline. Once you run the node, another list is created with those sampled frames ready to use in the next step. And the fourth mode is manual selection. This one gives you full control. Instead of extracting everything, or using a fixed interval, you can click anywhere along the timeline and choose the exact frames you want. While watching the video, you can preview those moments in real time and decide which ones matter for your project. Then, just like in the other modes, you run the node and the selected frames appear in a new list. The fifth and final mode is extract audio clips. This mode lets you select a section of the video and extract only the audio from that range. It works in a similar way to clips, but instead of creating a video segment, it creates an audio clip. So if there is a sound, voice, reaction, or any audio moment you want to reuse later, you can isolate it directly from the same timeline. So even though all 5 modes come from the same node, each one answers a different need. Now let's look at a simple case to understand how this works in practice. In this case, using manual selection, we choose the last frame of our video. Here we pull it out from the list so the selected image is easier to see on the canvas. But that is not actually required. You could also keep it inside the list, use select elements at the bottom right, choose the frame there, and connect the whole node directly to the start image input. In this case, because there is only one selected frame, it becomes the active one automatically. That means that in both cases we can continue the story from a frame we extracted ourselves, all within the same workflow. So we connect that extracted frame to a new video generator as the start image. For the new motion prompt, we only need something very simple. In this case, he suddenly starts screaming. Once we run that node, we get a second clip that begins exactly where the previous one ended. From there, and as you already saw in the previous episode, we can connect both video outputs to a video combiner and place them in the correct order. Once that node runs, we get a longer sequence made from 2 connected moments, which also helps us move beyond the duration limits of a single video generation. And that is the key idea behind Media Extractor. It turns one video into reusable parts so clips, frames, or audio can all become starting points for what comes next, instead of letting the video remain the end of the process. We'll keep learning more about everything Spaces can do in the next episodes. See you in the next one.